Hello, everyone. This is David Ellis, and I'm back with another UCM Vibe episode. And today we're going to be talking about a very special topic that is going to be very important for those of you who are watching this broadcast, and that is your financial and business health. So many people are spiritual wellness professionals, but they're not surviving or faring very well. And we know this in our uh, dealings with people. And so today's episode, we're going to be giving you guys a lot of advice as to how you can survive in today's world and the tricks of the trade, so to speak, in terms of making your business a little bit more effective and reaching more people and such like. So we're going to get into the weeds of how to do the social media marketing. We're going to get into the weeds of how to put your business out there and organize it in a way that, well, it resonates to people. Okay. And for this little enterprise, I have decided to bring in a very dear friend of mine. Her name is Dawn Eglitis, and she is going to help me with this project. So, Dawn, hello, Dawn.
Hello, David.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Dawn Eglitis, and I've been in the spiritual business for many, many, many years. And I've been enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to what this topic is going to talk about.
Well, this topic is going to talk about, well, business survival for wellness and spiritual professionals. And so, what that is there are a lot of people who are into spirituality as spiritual coaches, as mediums, as psychics, or whatever. And there are people who are into wellness. They do massage therapy, they do a whole sort of different therapies for people. The problem is they're very skilled, but they're not very skilled in business. And because you are not very skilled in business, it doesn't matter how skilled you are not going to fare very well in the marketplace, especially when it is that you are competing against, well, pharmaceutical companies, as an example, or your good old traditional medicine practitioners, right? Or psychologists or psychotherapists. Okay. The reason why you're not going to fare very well is because these people have the acumen to hire business professionals and marketing professionals, and you don't have those resources on hand. And so today we're going to teach you how to get around that stuff.
That's right.
Okay. First of all, I want to start with the concept of there are a lot of spiritual people out there who give advice. This is not going to be one of those cheerleading type spiritual broadcasts. This is going to be the get off your butt and do XYZ broadcast and make it happen. Okay. So, Don, I suppose we're going to have to talk about social media first of all and the mistakes, the common mistakes made in social media marketing.
I've seen a gamut of it. I actually took myself off social media for a little while there just to regroup.
Mm-hmm.
It got so unprofessional that it just like, no, I'm not going to be, I don't want to, I see that mistake all the time, that it gets really personal and it gets mucky. They're posting stuff about their animals on there when it has nothing to do with their business. You need a business page with Facebook instead of having all your relatives there and weddings. What's that got to do with your business? So create a separate Facebook page and then link that with your Instagram and keep it on topic. You may want 2 or 3 different Instagram accounts, personal versus business, but I've seen the two blending and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I think the reason why they make that mistake is because they want to present a personal side of themselves, because they think that they're in a business that requires a personal touch.
Absolutely.
No, that doesn't end well. For those of you who are watching this broadcast that have those little rings and circles around your profile picture that detail some sort of political or cultural affiliation, take it off.
Correct.
Okay, don't do it.
You
Okay.
got to be as neutral as possible. because you've got a huge range of clients. You don't know where they're coming from, what culture they're coming from, what their beliefs are. You've got to be neutral so that you are approachable.
Yes, and there's no point in turning off potential customers who would have come to you, but no, you have this thing around your profile that says your medical, vaccinated status or not. People may be against it, people may be for it. Why is it necessary to put that on your profile picture?
Correct.
And the thing about it as well, the political affiliations and so on, I don't care what they are, whether you're pro this or anti that, leave it off of your profile picture and erase it from your Instagram or whatever else. The reason for that is that you have to decide whether your personal preferences are more important than, I don't know, feeding yourself, as an example.
Absolutely. It's got to be neutral. In my client base that I've got multicultural people, I've got
Mhm.
multi-religious people, I've got political people. I don't care, because I come at it in a non-judgmental way. So I'm not putting it out there that I've got any judgments, because that's what my practice is about. It's not being non-judgmental.
Yeah, the other common mistake I see a lot of is people posting, how does one put this in a nice way? Uh, Inappropriate memes on the
Correct.
social.
Correct.
Listen, there is a spiritual counselor that I know that posts the F bomb things on her memes. They're delivering a spiritual message, so it would be something along the lines of, be effing awesome today. Okay, that's nice. That's really nice and very quirky, and I suppose you want to bring across to the customer that you're quirky in that way. You know that a large majority of the people who might actually want your guidance are in the older generation as well.
Correct.
They're not going to come to you if you post this on your social media. They're
Yeah.
just not.
No, I had one of my clients who was in her 90s when she came to me, and she's not really social media expert by any means, but she wants someone that she can trust, someone that she can relate to.
Hmm. Yeah, and that is a very common mistake. You want to be quirky, so you post a bunch of memes, and the problem with memes is that people may take them differently. You
Correct.
may post a meme and it may have a positive message, but pictures with 1,000 words, unfortunately, probably 500 of those words may not be good words.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
so keep it on topic and keep it on point,
Correct.
or else you are seriously and constricting your customer base to only
Right.
people who appreciate quirky humor. Which brings us to the next topic, which is the humor aspect.
Yeah.
Jokes are funny if they're neutral.
Correct.
Okay? For business, you want to post a joke on your Instagram, consider all aspects of how it can be taken.
Correct.
Okay?
And jokes tend to take, the butt end of a joke. In other words, it may be, slamming somebody else down. And that's not what we're about. We're about unity. And
Hmm.
you don't want to bring anyone down for the sake of humor. So a lot of people do that, and it's not cool.
Yes, especially when a joke is putting somebody down, or for those of you who like those kinds of jokes where people are falling on ice and stuff like that, don't post it on your business page, please. Pretty
Correct.
please.
Yeah. No, it's not funny because that person may have been hurt. They may have been traumatized from that fall. They've got a smile when they sit up, but they may have broken some bones. So those type of things, you don't know what the story is behind all that.
I think the basic rule when it comes to posting the actual post is, consider all aspects of what you're posting. If you post something like somebody falling on ice as an example, be aware that your client may have fallen on ice and it may be traumatic. Your potential clients, I should say, may have fallen on ice, may have had a relative who died that way. These are
Correct.
the kinds of things that trigger people. So when you are posting, post about your business and what it is that you do.
Correct. Yeah.
That's
That's
the actual
always
point.
the intention, is to increase your business and to be, less um, not judgmental, but don't have anything in there that's going to influence or have an issue that's going to send people away.
Yeah, I suppose the next topic is the education aspect of advertising. Don't assume that everybody knows who you are and what you do. Like
Correct.
your modality, like you would think that everybody knows what Reiki is. No,
No, they don't.
people don't know what Reiki is.
No.
And I see people posting assiduously a whole bunch of stuff on their social media. And only people who are in the know what it is that is, right? So you got to be educating your audience all the time. So
Right.
if you want to do a good post about the benefits of, the method of, so that people know what they're coming into. And I just don't understand why people don't do that. I mean, you do something arcane, like, I don't know, occult, dragon, um, I don't know, Kabbalistic, Reiki. All of these words, nobody knows.
Correct.
Only if you're in the metaphysical spectrum do you know. So could you please explain what each one of those words mean, how they apply, and how they work?
Right.
You've seen that, right? Don, like people are just like posting things.
I know. And what I equate when I'm doing my marketing or just talking general, I'm talking as if it's a 6-year-old. I want to
Correct.
make sure it's basic, that they get it. I don't want to talk over anybody. I want them to understand. If they've got more questions, then ask. But I always target it to a 6 to 8-year-old, where they're inquiring and inquisitive. They want to know. That I keep it very simple. That's that principle: keep it simple, stupid. I do.
Yeah.
I do keep it simple, because it really does. The kids program. Keep it simple, and then you're not talking and you're explaining exactly what you're doing, because there's a lot of people outside of our industry that don't understand.
Yes, I want you guys to pay attention to what Don is saying here. And the reason why I want you guys to pay attention to what Don is saying is because this can actually make or break your business. If you don't educate people, people don't know what you do, you expect them to pay you money for your services when they don't know what your services really are. You could list it, but it doesn't mean that they know anything. So a good practice, I would think, is to do little short videos as to what your practice looks like. People say, that looks interesting. I would want to try that. But don't just post a bunch of stuff with arcane images of fairies and, I don't know, wizards and stuff like that and expect people to get it. People don't get it. And that, which brings us to the other thing, right? People want to. Let me put this in a nice way. Just because you're proud of what you do doesn't mean people care about what you do.
Right.
Market to the customer. What does that mean? It means the customer's only concern is, how can this help me?
Correct.
They don't want, there's education and there's over education. They don't want to know about the archangels and the seraphim and the cherubim and all of that stuff. Okay, they want to know, how can this help me? If you can help me, let me know. But a lot of people don't get it. So Don, how does that work with people? Because people always, it's an arrogance thing. They want to let the audience know that they know what they're about.
You've got to be honest. I had a client this week that didn't know, a psychic or a medium. What is that? You would just assume people know what a psychic and a medium is, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone is different. And so I went in and explained what I do and how I connect, and I can't control who's going to come through. You may want, your Aunt Bess to come through, but they don't want to come through, so you can't connect with them. So it's setting an expectation level of what your practice is about and how your practice is actually being performed over an hour period or half an hour period. So they have expectations, because you want someone to be really satisfied with your
Mm-hmm.
service that you're operating, so that word of mouth gets out there, because your best marketing is word of mouth. person tells someone, this person really helped me in this block, or to get over survivor guilt, or whatever it is, or a lost loved one that they wanted to connect with. It's important that they get that information out there, that it relates to them, and then they can communicate with that with their friends. And that is the best way of marketing, to be honest with you. Referrals from friends.
I think a lot of people generally tend to, um, how should I say, they market for themselves. They market as if they're marketing to themselves, market for the customer. Keep it simple. Say what you're about. If possible, show some video about what it is that you do. And people will say, that looks interesting. I can help them. There is a point that I want to talk about here. There's a new marketing technique called marketing to the pain points that is effective up to a point. A pain point would be something like, did you end up in a car accident? It's like what the lawyers were doing back in Miami back in the day.
Yeah.
Like you're in a car accident and they show a picture of the car accident, and that could be you, right? Or if that was you, call me and I'll go after the person. Okay, that is a pain point. It works up until a certain point. When it gets slimy and creepy, it's not so much fun for your audience. So as an example, if I did a marketing commercial such as, are you divorced? Do you have a history of really messed up relationships? Right? Did the last ex-husband you have, did you get a protection order against him? When you get hyper specific like that, people are like, no, you just twisting the knife inside. And then you come off as creepy as hell. Okay?
Right. And you may even re-traumatize somebody, because,
Correct.
you never know. You want a healing session. And basically, that's what a psychic and a medium is. It's a healing session as well as an information system. And that's what you're doing. And to re-traumatize someone, you're creating more issues to deal with in that session. That's not a good thing to do. You want to help them through that.
Yeah, because if you get that client coming to you, they're coming with a certain amount of expectation on board as well.
Absolutely. You got to manage those expectations.
Okay. Which brings us to the next issue. Could you please, for those of you who are in the wellness industry, stop saying that you're going to heal anybody?
Correct. You can't. It's the person has to heal. You can give them some tools, but you're not the healer. You're the facilitator.
Say that you can help people. I think a lot of people tend to come from the perspective that people want high expectations. I'm going to give it to them and they pay me and they go about it. A dissatisfied customer is more damaging to your business,
right,
than a customer that you have not gotten.
Exactly. No, you get someone that's talking bad about you and do negative reviews, or, you could open yourself up to litigation. There is litigation out there, even in the spiritual business.
Oh, we're getting there. We are definitely getting to that point.
No, we are. And I've seen it. I've had to take insurance on it, on my business, to protect yourself from being litigated, because sometimes I'm dealing with life and death situations, and I have to be very careful. I get out of my depth a little bit at times, because, and I know I'm protected, so I'm not worried about that, but I can get out of my depth because I can give some advice that people take literally, and they can make decisions on it based on that could affect their lifestyle. So I have to there's some ethics involved in this, and you've got to have integrity in what you're saying and stand behind it.
Thank you, Don. That just switched our topic to the legalities and ethics of survival in the spiritual and wellness industries. The first topic that I wanted to address, we already did, which was the whole stop telling people that you can cure them. Stop.
Right.
It's not, that doesn't work well for your business. Manage the expectations. Keep your, and Dawn just told you that she took insurance out on her business. So the paperwork for your business should be in order, even on your website.
Correct.
Assuming that you have a website or a landing page.
And you've got to have disclaimers there too. And you need some legal background in your website. You just can't have it all airy-fairy. because you've got cancellation policies. What are those policies? If you're doing Reiki, you can create a healing session where they have a breakout and rash, or they have extreme pain after a healing session. Essentially, it's a blockage that's been removed, but for them, they can be traumatized by that. You need some protection out there, so you need some disclaimers. And you hear the term, it's for entertainment purposes only. It's from a litigation standpoint.
Yes. A lot of people don't even have a refund policy on their website.
Right. You've
And
got
I've been through a lot of websites. Guys, if you all don't have those policies and so on, reach out to somebody you could write them, because paperwork is horrible. A lot of people don't want to do it. Okay? But I am telling you, from a legal point of view, you need to protect yourself in every which way possible. So take down a list. Right now, I'm going to list them off to you. You need a cancellation policy on your website. You need a refund policy on your website. You need a disclaimer on your website. Okay? Based on European standards, if you're marketing to people in Europe, are you GDPR compliant? Okay? GDPR compliant basically says that my website is legally compliant with the rules of Europe or the European Union. And what does that look like? You won't be spamming anybody. If you are collecting people's data on your website, like a website intake form, your website needs to be GDPR compliant, because it's not an issue now, but in the next 5 years, when legislation has gone through, your site is not going to be showing up in Europe at all. If you are in Canada, I believe it is CAN-SPAM compliant.
right.
And so these are the things that you guys have to take into consideration if you are collecting people's information on your website, right? As I said, it's not necessarily a problem right now, but it is going to be a problem in the
I've even
future.
got a privacy policy on my website because
Correct.
I was involved in privacy, because what I've got, I'm collecting information on a person. I can't share it with anybody without their consent.
Which reminds me, if you are a herbalist or someone who is trying to do product online, you need another set of disclaimers for the product. Remember that if you're making salves and soaps and ointments and tinctures and stuff like that, that's tricky business.
Yeah, you're getting involved with the Food and Drug Act too when you're dealing
Okay?
with something like that.
And you need to make sure that you are compliant to everything that is going on. My suggestion would be, for now, the safest way is to make sure that all your products are external use only. And even if they are external use, you got to make sure that they're as natural as possible. And then you have to write up every disclaimer that you possibly can for this product. Okay? It's the same as when you go to a venue and so on, and people have a liability clause that says if you get hurt at this venue, if you take part in this activity, if you get on a roller coaster, there's a disclaimer. It is an implied disclaimer, however. So when you bought your ticket to whatever fair that or amusement park, at the back of the ticket, it has a disclaimer on it. That means that if you go on the Ferris wheel and you have a heart attack because you're scared to death, they are free from liability, because it's an implied consent that you are doing. And if people coming to your office, it's an implied consent. Make sure that you have it in writing. Make sure that you have it in writing, especially if you have products like you're putting salves on people's bodies for anti-inflammatory salves and so on. You don't know how anybody's going to react to that. Research what the contraindications are. Make sure that you list all of them. If you buy medication at the pharmacy and you say, oh, there's just a box of tablets, then you realize that half the box is a leaflet of things that we're not supposed to do when it is that you take this medication. And there's a reason for that. And if you're a wellness professional, protect yourself, because you could be sued. Absolutely. Very important. In terms of other paperwork, people have loosely configured businesses. You're a sole entrepreneur. Okay. Did you register?
Mhm. And there's some tax consequences too. Like in Canada, we've got goods and services tax, and if you earn a certain threshold, you have to register for a number in order to, pay GST or HST. Same thing when you're over in European countries. You've got service taxes that you've got to comply for.
Yes, a lot of people don't have that. Depending on where you live, you're going to have to pay taxes on what you're doing. There's a threshold for when you pay tax. A lot of people try to go underneath that tax bracket, right? Like you're doing like one client every week or two clients every week, right? You're still going to have to pay tax if you cross over a certain threshold. Make sure you know what the threshold is.
Correct.
And we're saying this to you guys because we don't want you guys to get into any kind of trouble. Some professionals are very popular. And so it's going to be more than one client a week. And it's going to be probably 2, 3, 4 clients a week, right? Or you're going to get clients every day. Depending on who you are and how popular you are, you're going to have to take good accounting. So a lot of people don't have good accounting methodologies.
Correct.
So my suggestion would be the following. Subscribe to QuickBooks Online, or what is the other one? Sage?
Yes.
And make sure that you do this automatically. So when payments come in, QuickBooks takes the payments, right? And then you don't have to do all that work. Because I know a lot of you hate accounting and doing all that paperwork. And right about now, I could hear a whole bunch of people across the internet saying, that's heavy. No, it's not heavy. Subscribe to QuickBooks Online. It's like, depending on where you are, it's like $10 at the beginning. It can go up to 24 depending on what kind of enterprise you have. And then you set up your payment schedule inside QuickBooks, which will allow you to stay up to date with your accounting automatically. Okay? Do that. Please do that. Because it's a one-time setup and then everything flows smoothly after that.
Yeah, the pain is up front, and then once you've got all the work done, then it's just a matter of flow.
And we're talking to people in the US as well. Do the same. Okay?
Correct. Absolutely.
Especially if you live north of the border in the US. Taxes are very real out there. The other aspect of the whole marketing and finance game is please have a business plan. Do you have a business plan? I don't care whether you're just massaging people. Do you have a business plan? Where are you going to be in the next 5 years? Are you going to be in the same office massaging the same client once a week?
Right.
In 5 years from now, where are you going to be? Do you have a business plan? Do you have a business plan for growth? And you don't have to be some like super entrepreneur. Dawn, give me an example of what a business plan would look like.
Well, you've got your fixed overheads. So you've got rent or hydro or electricity or something like that that you have to pay. Those things can't vary. You've got some supplies. If you're dealing with shampoo or soap, depending on what you're doing, or acupuncture needles, you've got certain things that are supply related in terms of as a business increases, your supplies are going to increase too. So you've got to put that in place. You got taxes that you've got to consider. So that's, you're looking at all your sales and then your revenue, and then what are your expenses? So what is your growth going to be? You've got to build in inflation, because our costs today won't be the same next year at 4% inflation right now. We've got to build that into your factors for your business plan.
So dig this, guys. I know this is overwhelming and discouraging, because I know a lot of people do not think in those kinds of ways. So here's what I'm going to suggest that you do. First things first, get a sheet of paper. Get a sheet of paper right now. You could play this back because we're streaming to Facebook. Get a sheet of paper and write down the following things. What do I need for my business? Okay? If you're a massage therapist, you're going to need an oil, you're going to need a table, you're going to probably need a room if you're not doing it from your house. If you don't have the capital to rent a room, then you're going to be doing it from your house. Okay? And that goes for spiritual counselors or anybody who's doing psychic surgery or anybody else who's doing anything else, right? That's what you're going to need. All the rest of the stuff is mind stuff you're going to be putting into your business. It's your mental, your skills, and so on. So write down, what do I need for my business? What are the physical things that I need for my business? Okay? We good? Good. Secondly, you're going to write down what the ongoing costs for your businesses are. Okay? So I'm guessing that if you're doing it from home, you're going to be spending money on electricity. If you're not doing from home, then it's rent and electricity and possibly water, depending on what you're doing. You got that written down? Okay. Now, think about how much money you have right now. So I'm going to be the person trying to set up the business, and Dawn is going to be the person who I'm borrowing the massage table from. I have no money whatsoever. Let's start with that. Right? I have no savings, no money, and so on, but I did the course and the curriculum as a healer. But I know that I need a massage table because it's kind of weird to be having somebody on your couch
or your bed.
Yeah, no.
I've been there, done that with, not for me, but I've been to a client that, never mind.
I want to hear the rest of that story. This story, I'm going to listen to the rest of that. Anyway, moving right along. So, I have no money. All I have is my skills as a spiritual healer, psychic surgeon, Reiki person. It's going to be weird to be doing that kind of stuff on my couch at home. Okay, I have no massage bed. So I need to get clients. How am I going to get clients? I have no money, remember, but you know what? Social media is free. So I'm going to go on social media and I'm going to put out this call to action that I am doing Reiki in my house. Remember, I have no money, so I have no bed. So I have to be very professional. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself a straight back chair and I'm going to say, I'm going to do healing from here, like the way I'm sitting right now. Okay. My first client pays me $100 for this thing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Client pays me $100. Guess what? Dawn, who's doing a little bit better than I am, is going to have more than one massage table. Probably Dawn used to be a massage therapist. She decided to get rid of massage therapy. I go to Dawn. I said, Dawn, you have an extra massage therapy table. I want to buy it from you. I'm paying you $50.
Right.
Dawn sells me the $50 massage table. I am now upgraded my business. I reinvested into my business by buying Dawn's massage table. Got the massage table. I put the massage table up and so on. Right. And even if I don't get the massage table from Dawn, I'm like, Dawn, did you know that I'm a spiritual healer and counselor? Right. So about that massage table, I suppose you want an appointment at some point, right? So you do a barter agreement, learn to negotiate, and don't just throw money at things.
Correct. Energy exchange is what it's called.
Yep. Don't just throw money at things. So Dawn has become a client of mine because I'm working off the money for the massage table. Okay. So Dawn likes my service, so to speak, and she tells Sally, because once again, I'm going to be really nice to Dawn, aren't I?
Yes, right.
I'm going to go out of my way to make sure the experience she has on her massage table is the best experience ever. And Dawn is going to say, David, you're a nice guy. I think I have a sister who wants an appointment. And then Dawn starts sending clients my way. That's how it looks. This is what it looks like. Remember, it started with a post on Facebook and a singular client that paid me $100. And then I bartered with Dawn, theoretically, right? And then Dawn starts sending me clients. That's how it looks. And then I say, I don't have enough money for a website because websites cost me $3,000. And so far, all I've made is $150, so to speak. Okay? So I go to wordpress.org. I'm going to repeat that, wordpress.org, and I'm going to I'm going to make a landing page, a one-page landing page, because I just need to put one button on it, and that's a payment button with a picture of myself doing stuff.
Right.
I asked Dawn for a testimonial, and Dawn, a lot of people know you. A lot of people trust you. So you want to give me a testimonial? Dawn gives me a testimonial. So I have a video on my site, a picture of my setup, a call to action saying that I'm doing this, XYZ, and a payment button. And I'm going to probably use PayPal, but then PayPal takes 10%, and Stripe takes about 8.5 to 10%, depending on what you're doing. I would rather use Stripe, but you guys can use PayPal, right? And you set up your landing page, and then you redirect all sorts of traffic from social media to your little one-page website. Why? Because social media is not nice to businesses. None of them are.
Yeah.
Because if you're not paying me, you're not going to be seen.
Correct.
So.
And the other key thing is to have a business card. Go to, an office place and get yourself a business card, because there's nothing worse when you're networking. They say, well, how can I contact you? And you rattle off your website. Well, if they don't have a pen or, don't use it in their phone, they want a physical card. So just get them a physical card.
Yes. And I know a lot of y'all think, what? Business cards are so old fashioned. The $25 from the $150 that I spent, I am going to go on one of those printed sites, and then I'm going to get some business cards made and sent to me. So $25 is gone. I am now working with $125, but I'm still in the black.
That's right. But the business cards, you can propagate them to various other stores and other venues, and so they're doing the talking for you when you can't actually be there.
Yes, but the most important piece of advertisement is Dawn had a great experience.
Correct.
Because a lot of people know Dawn and say, oh, Dawn is going to say, I met this wonderful healer and stuff like that, and so on. And people are going to come to you.
Great.
And that is what it looks like. It starts slow. And a lot of people fall down in the networking aspect as well. So I started a business, but my family doesn't know anything about it. My friends don't know anything about it because I don't want to look like, weird marketing to them, right? My family, my friends don't know any. The people that support me the most don't know anything about what it is that I'm doing. Error.
Correct. Yeah. That's where it starts with your family and friends. That's where I started when I first did it, because I didn't have the confidence that my product was sufficient. Mm-hmm. So I played with my family and friends until I got my confidence level. So I offered a lot of free sessions just to gain your confidence. And then once you've got that word of mouth through your family and friends propagates, and then it keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, a lot of people miss that point. They're like, oh, I have a business. I'm just going to market to the entire worldwide internet, and things will go well. No, your family, friends, where you are. I want to say something to those of you who are along your way, journeymen, and you've already have established businesses and so on. If you do not conquer the area where you are at, don't think about going international, okay? Exactly. Make a solid foundation where you are at in your locality before you decide that you're going all international with yourself. There's a specific reason for that, because people reference where you come from when it is they're making decisions like as to who they're going to do businesses on the wider international scale, right? You may be trying to get onto the international scale, but people in your hometown don't know who the hell you are.
That's right.
Doesn't work. I've seen a lot of people try that. And during COVID, when all of this stuff shut down and so on, a lot of people tried to go international because they had to switch to online businesses, which would bring us to the next issue. How flexible is your business? How agile are you? Like, can you take on a new project and switch up your game. So let's say using the same example because we want to show you what it looks like. So I have $125. I have business cards. I have done promoting for me and so on. And I decided to take another $25 and add a new service to my business to upscale my skills. So I started with spiritual healing, and now I took a counseling course, and now I'm doing spiritual counseling. I have up-leveled my skill set.
Mm-hmm.
Good business move, because now I have another attractive point to come to my business. And you're thinking in those kinds of ways, okay? Okay. Can you transition from one thing to another in the public's eye really quickly?
No, you need to really be well known for what you're doing first before you start pivoting, because it looks like you're not really understanding where you're going and people don't have the confidence. If you add another skill, that's great, but there's a core business. Focus on the core business. Yes, you can pivot, but focus on the core business, because that is where you're going to get your bread and butter.
Yes, focus on the core business. And when you're pivoting, pivot slowly.
Correct.
Yeah, this is not basketball. You don't be shifting left, right, and center everywhere. Pivot slowly. Because the truth of the matter is, if you have somebody on your table, you're going to be doing some sort of intake and you're going to be talking to them, right? Before you get them on your table. Theoretically, you're going to be talking to them. They're not going to come into your office and say, you like it, lie down on the table. All right?
Yeah.
You're going to be talking to them. And as a result of that, you're going to be telling people what it is that you're doing. Every client that comes in your office, I'm going to be offering a new service very soon, which is just spiritual counseling. Because I realize a lot of people come into my office. Listen to what I'm saying, and they need more emotional support and stuff like that. And they only have an hour in my office. And so I'm just trying to help them. So on the weekends, I'm probably going to be doing some spiritual counseling and so on. You guys see how that works. You pivot slowly.
Right.
That's what it looks like. I'm just showing you all what it looks like. All right? Because I'm taking one case and we're going to go down the line with it. So let's say you got this business and everything is going well, and you're beginning that slow pivot and so on. And now you have to think about, how am I going to grow? Because I have a bunch of people who come to me regularly. But that bunch of people, let's say Sally comes to me for back pain. Back pain is not going to be there 24/7. It's going to go away if I am a good spiritual healer, right? So you need to be thinking about bringing in more clients, but not to the point of overwhelm. And
Right.
you start treating your regular clients like they're a chore. Very important mistake made. I've seen that happen several times, when people get too big and they start treating their regular clients like crap.
Exactly.
Right? So the clients that are your foundational clients, always give them some form of preferential treatment. They're the backs upon which you built your business.
Right. They're the
And
fundamental of your core.
yes, they're the backs upon which you built your business. And if you don't do that, you're going to be having a real hard time. Okay? Because moving to newer clients and so on that you're excited about, if you're going to do a price hike, as an example, you're saying, I'm not doing $100 anymore, right? I'm going to probably do $150. Okay? Your foundational clients, put that shit in later, and for the new clients, usher that new price in now. That is good policy. Let me tell you, that is good policy, because people that have been paying $100 all the time, woo!
Yeah, I did that. I did a price increase, and any new one went with a new price, and then I grandfathered. That's what they call it, where the old right price was certain time for another 3 months for the older clients, and then they knew that it's going up.
Yes.
So you do a graduation for your old clients, and you can do the new price range for the new clients immediately.
Which reminds me, a lot of people suck at pricing.
Yeah, you got to do research on what's competitive, because you can outprice yourself in the marketplace. Greed can take over very quickly, and I've seen it happen many times where they overcharge for what they're getting and they're not competitive with other people.
So when you're doing pricing and you're trying to decide what should I charge, uh, please consider the following factors. Am I new to the marketplace? If I am new to the marketplace, my price has to be under what the marketplace is offering. Nobody knows who you are.
Right.
That's the first thing. Is my service comparable to the other services out there? Now, you need to have a little bit of humility and a little bit of, how should I say, awareness. Stop looking at things from your perspective. Look at it from the customer's perspective. A lot of people cannot, how do I say, take their consciousness and throw it out of their bodies.
That's
That
right.
came out badly.
I know what you mean.
Right.
But what's unique about your practice too when you're doing it? So if you are going to charge a premium for your service over other people, is that worthwhile for your clients? You may have, do Reiki, and you may do coaching, or you may do mediumship work, or you do acupuncture, or whatever it is in a massage therapy. Is that over and above what the core is? And is that price premium worth it?
Mm-hmm. A lot of people suck at this part because, honestly speaking, I understand that you want to cover overhead costs as quickly as possible, especially if you had startup costs like buying the massage table and stuff like that, assuming that you didn't try to negotiate your way into a massage table and you decided that you were going to throw yourself into the super duper high tech hydraulic massage table, like with all the little bells and whistles, and it sings and it has music coming out of it and stuff like that. And you just put yourself $10,000 in the hole when you could have just bought a foldable massage table or bought a foldable massage table. You know how many people have massage tables at their house that they're just not doing anything with?
Yeah. And Facebook's got great marketplace. You can just say in search of massage table, and you can get a free one that way.
Don't be a perfectionist when it comes to business. Trust me, business is never as clean as you think it is. It is usually grimy. There's a lot of struggle sometimes, but you have to keep your wits about you. So please, 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 you're just starting a business. Don't invest in a $10,000 massage table. Pretty please, I'm begging you. I don't care if you have $20,000 a startup. Don't invest $10,000 in the hydraulic super duper deluxe massage table. The other things that I can see when it comes to this aspect, the logistical aspect of business, is have an appointment schedule.
And the other thing is get back very quickly to any inquiries. I've seen people wait a whole week and then you've lost that client. They want immediate responses.
Correct. Have an appointment scheduler with a 15-minute buffer between each client. And if you're new, probably half an hour buffer between each client would be advisable. Why? Because you need to recover, because every new client that you see has to be a new client that you see.
Correct.
Right? Because there is something called spillover. I'm doing spiritual counseling. I just had this heavy client who had, 5 family members die in the last month. Okay? All right. So my internal attunement is in this way. The next client that's after that client may be someone who won the lottery, the thing, and their main issue is how they're going to spend their money ethically and stuff like that. Okay? So I'm dragging grief counseling into logistical counseling. You got to learn to pivot and shift inside, and that is going to take time. Put the buffer between the clients so that you could sit down, close your eyes, and when you open your eyes, your mind is new for the next client.
Absolutely.
Reconfiguration is a very important thing. So, yeah, and keep a calendar because, clashes and time clashes will get your business a bad reputation every day of the week.
And the last thing you want to do too is be late because a lot of people don't want to wait. So building in that half an hour or 15-minute buffer for, there's traffic outside and they're coming to your house and they don't make it, then if you don't have that buffer, you're backing one onto another. And especially if you're doing your home, people have got to find a way, somewhere to sit while they're waiting for you to finish up. And if you're a sole person doing it, how do you interrupt your service to go and let someone in your house? You've got to build that buffer in.
You want to know why I had the buffer between clients? Because let me tell you, I used to deal with some very heavy stuff when I was a practicing psychotherapist. And sometimes stuff comes up at the end of the session, not at the beginning.
Absolutely.
And your client can have a total release or a meltdown, as the case may be, at the end of the session, and you want that 15-minute buffer because you can't leave somebody who just realized at, let's say it's an hour session, and at 55 or let's say 50 minutes into the session, they have a realization, oh my God, I was raped. What happens is that client is going to be emotional. You now have 10 minutes if you did not do your buffering right to get a client to reconfigure themselves and have a plan. That's why I have the 15-minute buffer in between. Because let me tell you, letting a client outside of your office who is emotionally distraught is not a good idea. It really isn't.
No, it's not. They could have an accident or because they're not thinking, they're not in their body. Actually, when I'm doing Reiki, one of the things I do is make sure they're grounded before they even leave my premise, because if they're not grounded, they can have an accident. And I don't want that to be the case.
Correct. These are the things that you got to think about. These are the logistical, practical things that happens. They happen. And Don and I can tell you these things because we've seen these things more than one on a personal level. Okay? Which is why scheduling is very important. I suppose the next thing that I would like to get into on the concept of having a plan is you want to expand in an organic way. Don't expand in an artificial way. Let me show you what I mean by that. Organic means that people know you, know what you're about, and so on. But there are some people who try to shortcut that process. So they have this fake advertisement of themselves with, angels over them and so on. And they decided to do Google's pay-per-click ads. It's going to be useless to you guys. I'm telling you this right now. People need to know who you are, or else you're not going to people will spend a lot of money on advertising, generally speaking, and because they don't do the education part and because they don't do all of the letting people get to know them, or they don't like the camera. Like Dawn is out here on camera. You know who Dawn is. Okay?
That's right.
They just put this little picture of themselves with angels and so on, and they pay like $1,000 to Google or whatever else, and they can rack up, and they wonder why they're not getting any return on their investment. It's because nobody knows you, and there are 1,000 other people doing the same thing, and nobody cares. But then Dawn, who has a video of herself, who's appearing on shows as an example, right? Who's actually out here, and you know that she knows what she's about because you can see it. Is not spending a lot on advertising and maybe doing a lot better than you. Guess that. You see that problem? And I have seen this so many times. I'm going to tell you guys something personal to myself. I have not spent not one penny on Google Ads ever. Okay? I have never had a problem with clientele. Okay? I don't. I simply don't.
Neither
Be-
have I.
and you don't need it
No, you don't.
because it's better when people see who you are and whether you know your stuff or not
Right.
than some generic ad that Google generated for you.
It's just when you're out there, say in the business that I'm doing, it's
Hmm.
majority of the people are women. I would say 99% of the people that I do is for women,
Hmm.
and it just happens to be that way. And I've noticed that through my client base. So where do women hang out? Well, they hang out in hairdressers. They're at restaurants. They're all that place. What you've got to do is tell people when you're in these places, you're the walking advertisement for yourself. Explain what you do. I'm a medium, or I'm a psychic, or I do massage therapy, or I'm an acupuncturist. Get yourself out there because people will be drawn to you on your confidence,
Hmm.
your energy, your personality,
Hmm.
because sometimes you're the right fit for the person, sometimes you're not. That's okay. You don't have to be a people pleaser. What you've got to do is really be authentic of who you are and get yourself out there in everyday situations. When you're at a restaurant, explain what you do. You don't know that that person may be searching for somebody.
Don, you said something there that was actually very, very important that we missed early on.
Okay. Your audience?
No, you are a walking advertisement for your business,
Absolutely.
which means conduct yourself in public in a manner that is even professional. When you think nobody's looking, somebody's looking. Okay?
Yeah, there's cameras now on everyone's phone. And the last thing you want to be, saying you're very spiritual and then do something that's not very spiritual, captured on the phone, it goes viral. Then what do you do?
Yeah. So if you are the kind of person who is dealing with people's health, as an example, and you find yourself at the rave high on psilocybin or whatever else you're high on, right? Ecstasy or whatever else, and people are taking pictures. Oh, I have to see her on Tuesday. No,
Right.
right?
Yeah, it's important to walk your talk. Whatever you're putting out there, you've got to walk it. The worst
Correct.
thing to do is do as I say, don't do as I do. That doesn't work. You've got to do what you do and do what you say.
Yes, a lot of people don't understand this construct, and I think if you are established in the field and you have a skill set that everybody can see that you have that skill set and so on, there is some room for leeway, but the best practice, best industry, best practice is to always present a face that people can trust.
Correct.
Okay. Let me give you a joke of what a personal joke of mine. So I'm in Barbados, right? Chilling out at a beach bar. A bunch of people, random people are in the bar, right? And they're coming and they're sitting down and talking to me and they're drinking down the whole bar. I don't drink. The next morning, I am on a flight to England. I walk up the ramp to the flight. Okay. The person who greets me at the door says, "Hello, sir," is one of the people. She's the air hostess. She's the air hostess. She's not supposed to be drinking before the flight. I'm hoping that she's not supposed to be drinking. But I saw that woman the night before and she was in a state, right? It lowered my confidence about reaching safely. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm wondering who the pilot is. I'm wondering who the co-pilot is. These are the kinds of things that you have to pay attention to. What it is. And honestly, that flight to England was a 9-hour flight, and so I spent 9 hours wondering who's the co-pilot, who's the pilot. Was it the two guys that was with this chick? I'm like thinking these kinds of things, right? You got to present a professional face when it is that you're out. Okay, no drunken disorderly business, no toxic business, right? Out in like getting into fights in the bar and stuff like that. Please don't do that. When it comes to promoting your business, you have to find ways of promoting your business in public in ways that are subtle. Some of y'all go overboard. You're at a family dinner. It's your family annual dinner where the relatives come. and you're busy talking about the different muscles and sinews in your body and how that dead turkey might add to your karma and so on. And you are not fun for anybody. Okay?
Yeah.
Learn to park it in, the parking garage and just be a normal human. If you want to bring up your business and somebody says at the, whatever, that, I have like stomach pain, so I can't eat this, then you offer them advice. It might be the food combination. So if you eat turkey, do you usually eat it with, like, I don't know too much about meat, or turkey for that matter. Do you eat it with, I don't know, Kraft stuffing, as an example? It may be something in the Kraft stuffing that's causing your stomach ache after you eat it. It's not necessarily turkey. Have you just tried to eat the turkey by itself? Right? And they'll ask you why you're asking. Well, I'm a nutritionist. I ask these questions to just check, right? Oh, you're a nutritionist. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, so there's a number of factors that might go into your stomach ache, so you don't have to necessarily give up turkey. And then the person says to you, "Oh, okay. So can I have an appointment to come and see you?" And that's how that works.
Absolutely.
Don't be talking about the karma that the turkey will give you. Stomach karma, right?
Yeah, it's best to be humble when you're in social situations, not really doing a lot of self promotion. Let people know what you do, but you don't have to be ramming on about what that profession is or what you're doing out there. Just be humble about it.
Yes, because then people will be turned off and you're not getting that client.
That's
For
right.
sure not. So
Exactly.
I don't know. There are a number of other mistakes that I have seen people make, and I'm just saying this to you guys because, and Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and what else is there? The
Twitter.
other Twitter.
Thread.
These are corporations. Corporations deal in profit. You maybe want to put an ad out to people. This is how you use these corporations effectively, as opposed to not. And this is my forte here because I sit down and I think about these things a lot. They're not going to promote your business unless you pay them money.
That's right.
The less you pay them, the less you will be promoted. The more you pay them, the more you will be promoted. It is as simple as that. Here's how you get around that. You make friends with a whole bunch of people and use that communications platform, which is what it is, to spread your word via the grapevine. Okay? So people are not seeing your business page. They're not seeing your post because these platforms are deliberately restricting it when it comes to business. Okay? You may think that they're seeing your business page and you're seeing your post. The best thing to do, and I'm going to give you all this piece of advice, is redirect traffic outside of their control.
Correct.
Redirect traffic outside of their control to a landing page or website or whatever else where they have no control over it.
Right.
So if you're putting posts inside these platforms, make sure that they have a link that's taking people out of the platform. Okay? Because you may think that this is some big, nice, wide open community. Oh, look, I'm on Facebook with my profile and a whole bunch of stuff, right? God, I hope this broadcast doesn't get flagged by the robots in Facebook. Anyway, you may think that this is a big open community, but what it actually is, if I give you the analogy, is a cell block with a bunch of inmates in their cells and the overlords deciding when you get privileges to come out and play with the other inmates. That's what social media is. Technologically speaking, that's what they have done. Y'all are all in little cells, and the inmates decide if you pay the prison officers or whatever you want to call them enough money, then you can't get to come out and play and tell the other prisoners your name. But no, you're in cells. And so the way to get around that is to tell the prisoner next to your cell, hey, I'm doing Reiki. The prisoner says to the other person on the next cell, the guy 2 cells up from me, he's doing Reiki, right? And it gets around the prison. That's how you do this. Make friends.
That's right.
And get around them. So you're in your prison cell and you draw a little stick figure of yourself, and you take the little thing and you pass it to the guy next to you, and he passes it down and he passes it down, and that's how you create business in the prison. And so that when you guys get out, you say, oh, check me out when you get out, right? And people know where to come. You have a audience from the prison block, that is the Facebook prison block or the Instagram prison block, and they know where they're going for spiritual guidance or whatever else. That's actually what's happening. If you attempt to pay these prison officers, they will let you come out for a while, and you're going right back in that cell when you stop paying. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, that's actually what the real reality is. And believe me, I've tested this backwards, forwards, up and down. They actually, and there's another, I'm going to just, since we're doing whistleblowing here, let's do another whistleblow. When you put your link on Facebook, do you know that there's something called a Facebook browser? Don't take my words for it. Put a link on Facebook and then click the link yourself. You will notice that the link that you put, whether it be www.whateversite.com, when you click the link, you'll notice that when you click it, it doesn't go to www.whateversite.com. It has a bunch of string of code behind it. That is because Facebook is filtering it through the browser because you're trying to escape Facebook. Guys, it's not fair. They're not playing fair. And so don't play fair yourself. Make friends and spread the word around. So if when somebody like Amy, as an example, offers to have you on their show, come on, Amy, show that everybody else can see it, because she's probably going to multi-stream to different platforms and other people will see you. Do it that way. Stop paying for ads that will get you nowhere.
And they're always changing the platforms anyway, the algorithms, that all the math and science behind all the clickbait and everything else is changing constantly.
Yes, and the reason why they do that is to keep you continually confused. But I could pretty much tell you how that works. With another analogy, let's say that you pay me $5 and I let you out of the prison for like an extended period of time, let's say an hour, right? Mm-hmm. Let me tell you what all that math is about. Okay, so $5 and you have the range of the prison block. Okay? That $5 a month from now will get you only cells 1 to 10. You understand me? But then I'm going to change it. And you pay me another $5, I'm going to let you get on cells only on this side of the aisle. Okay? But the truth of the matter is I'm slowly decreasing your reach for the same $5. But then you can't figure it out. Because as far as you're concerned, you just pay $5 and you think you're getting the same thing, but no, I'm slowly reducing your reach. Right? And this is the kind of thing that, and you guys can check this out. Don't take David's word for it. Here's how you do this. Okay? You guys can test everything that I'm saying on this broadcast. Go into your business account. Decide to do a targeted ad in Facebook. When you do the targeted ad, they tell you what your reach is theoretically going to be. Okay? The reach is going to be what? 16,000 to 100,000, depending on whether you paid $80. Okay? Try to do the same thing a month from now on a different day. See if you get the same figures that you got the last time you paid the $80. Or try to pay $80. You don't have to go through the purchase the last time, and see how that works. You will notice that you're not getting anywhere. Facebook decided to give out a whole bunch of vouchers to everybody who has had new business accounts. So they said that you have like $10, a $10 voucher. I'm sorry. That's going nowhere. That's going to the prison block next to you, okay? Right? That's going to the prison cell next to you. That's going nowhere. So giving out a $10 voucher is not giving out anything at all. Okay? And so a lot of people said, "Oh well, they're giving out these vouchers. So why don't we just do? Why don't we spend some more money? It's a ploy to get you to spend more money, guys. The age-old axiom in marketing is that word of mouth is king. It always is.
That's my primary advertising is word of mouth.
Yeah. So we're reaching out time. This is fun. Actually, Dawn, we're going to be doing more of these. I think so because this was actually fun to actually and I hope that we're helping you guys. I hope that we're helping you guys. So if you guys have any questions, first of all, you can probably reach me at info@universalcitizentv.com. And Dawn, I want you to give a way to actually find.
So my website is dawnforspiritualguidance.com.
Okay, so Dawn has Dawn for Spiritual Guidance at gmail.com. It's right there, Dawn for Spiritual Guidance at gmail.com. And this is her website, dawnforspiritualguidance.com. We have another bit of a surprise for you. For those of you who have time management problems, we're going to put a QR code up on the screen that you can scan with your cameras and see how you're doing in terms of time management. It's a little bit of a quiz that will help you to see where you are at. I like to tell people where they are at because I want them to be able to see where they need to improve. So I'm going to just switch the screen and hold it up there for 10 seconds. All right, I hope you guys got that. Dawn, this has been fun. We got to do this again at some point in time.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it.
All right, guys, I will see you next week. Take care.
Breathe and relax. Come into oneness. Come into unity, whatever that means to you in this moment. Allow distractions to fall away. And let's take a few moments to settle in, drawing our attention to the breath and simply observe any sensations associated with each inward and each outward movement.
Hello, this is Juliet Karaman van Schardenberg, and welcome to this meditation for sleep. First, I'd like to invite you to get... Hello, and welcome to this meditation. My name is Juliet Karaman van Schardenberg, and I'll be guiding you today. To prepare for this meditation, which will lead